This voice is taken from an article with the title, "What is the Role of Fiscal Policy in Economic Calendar Events?" which has been published on TRADERTALKSNET. Fiscal policy is an important element of economic calendar events, as it has a direct impact on the economic performance of a nation. Fiscal policy is the government's spending and taxation policies that are aimed at influencing the overall level of economic activity in the economy. In other words, it is the use of government spending and taxation to influence the level of aggregate demand in the economy in order to achieve macroeconomic objectives such as economic growth, full employment, price stability, and balance of payments equilibrium. Fiscal policy is typically used to manage the level of aggregate demand in the economy. This is done by either increasing or decreasing government spending or changing the levels of taxation. When the government increases spending and/or cuts taxes, it can stimulate economic activity, as the additional spending or lower taxes will lead to an increase in aggregate demand. Conversely, when government spending is cut and/or taxes are increased, it can lead to a decrease in aggregate demand. Events such as budget releases, tax reforms, and spending programs are all part of fiscal policy and influence economic calendar events. Budget releases are important economic calendar events as they provide insight into the government's plans for fiscal policy in the coming year. They are also often closely watched by economists and investors, as they can provide an indication of the government's plans for economic growth and inflation. Tax reforms are also important, as they can affect the level of economic activity in the economy. Tax reforms can include changes to tax rates, deductions, and credits. Lastly, spending programs are important as they can affect economic growth and inflation. Spending programs can include infrastructure projects, education, and healthcare. In conclusion, fiscal policy plays an important role in economic calendar events. It is the government's use of spending and taxation to influence aggregate demand in the economy. Budget releases, tax reforms, and spending programs are all part of fiscal policy and can have an influence on economic calendar events. These events can provide insight into the government's plans for economic growth and inflation, and can be an important indicator of the health of the economy.